Excuse me, sir, is your name Sergio Checo Perez? I'm going to need for you to step out of the F1 vehicle, sir. You're being arrested on suspicion of charges against Formula One, against Maximilian Verstappen, against the balls that are red. You have the right to remain silent, sir, but anything you do say may be held against you as evidence in a court of law. Throw the towel in, Checo. Time's finished, mate. Se acabó. Done. Gonzo. Kaput. You've had enough, mate. You've 10-7'd across the board, chap. There are the likes of Teo Porcher, Carlos Sainz Jr., Felipe Drugovich et al. Waiting to take your place if F1 ever considered itself as a meritocracy. Therefore, it needs to give them the seats. What are we doing as far as underperformance? In extremis, chap, at this point, as near as makes no difference each and every single race weekend, you fail to get out of Q1 in one of the most dominant cars in F1 history. What are we doing, Mexican Minister of Defense? I can't even call you that anymore, chap. No longer are you worthy of that moniker, sir. 2021 Abu Dhabi, 2021 Turkey are long faded, distant memories now. Once upon a time, you were absolutely god tier, particularly in terms of your defensive driving. Now, however, as at July 2024, heading into the Silverstone Grand Prix, you have nothing, sir. It's beyond a joke now. It is beyond a joke. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know where to go with this. And I desperately want to defend him. I feel like I like Checo Perez, but he leaves me with zero case. There is no exhibit A, B or C. Particularly Formula One is a sport where what have you done for me lately is all that counts. Check him out, Checo Perez. His performance as at the Austrian Grand Prix. Where was this chap? Maximilian Verstappen had time enough to crash into Lando Norris, trundle back to the pits, having that happened at turn 3. Sort his car out, come back out, take a 10-second penalty and still finish 17 seconds ahead of his teammate Sergio Checo Perez. Oh, the humanity. The levels of underperformance here are off the Richter scale. Not to mention that 2 in the sprint race, Maximilian Verstappen finished 17.4 seconds down the road from the Mexican Minister of Defense. Sometimes in F1 they say history doesn't repeat, but it does rhyme. 17.4 seconds in the race proper, 17.4 seconds was the delta in the sprint race. What are we doing around a track that takes 64 seconds to travel around? Checo Perez, this is not good enough, chap. Are you taking it seriously even? Is that Checo Perez or is that Lance Stroll? I say this to say this. He doesn't even look interested. Does he even want to compete in F1 still? Does he really? Is he even match fit? Has he been match fit season to date? Absolutely, he looks like he might be eating one too many tacos. Bless him. This is a serious thing. You do not play F1 for you can be seriously injured or killed. Come to get it or do not come at all. Hence why I say it's done. Se acabó. Checo. Finished. Kaput. Gonzo. And that's okay. Checo. Not everybody can take that trip as far as F1's concerned. Sometimes things evolve in real time. You lose the desire to race and you don't want it. And maybe that's where Checo Perez is. But how then did he get himself a 1+1 deal? How? Non-rhetorical question. Well, of course, because he was one of the only drivers in that Red Bull team to unequivocally come out and support his team principle when he needed it most. Peak Christian Horner allegations, PA, battles with Jos Verstappen and the guys and girls at Salzburg being Oliver Mintzlaff et al. Of course, you've got to give him something. There was a debt of gratitude owed to one Checo Perez, formerly known as the Mexican Minister of Defense. And Christian Horner is going to pay for that in real time. Here's what Christian had to say. about Checo Perez's material underperformance, not only versus his teammate Max Verstappen, but versus the rest of the field. We're doing our best to find out what he's missing, because the first 4 or 5 races he was very competitive. Whatever happened to cause him to drop off, we don't know, but we're going to fix it. Not we, Christian, you, sir. Because you were responsible for giving him the 1+1. You need to fix it. Helmut Marko wanted to promote internally, give Danny Rick the seat as an example, or Liam Lawson, or Ryuki Tsunoda for pizza. Anyone. Carlos Sainz Jr. is indeed waiting in the wings. People will say that contracts are worth something in Formula One, but I would beg to differ. All of Checo Perez's nepotism is of course a function of the fact that Christian Horner likes him, plus the fact that he brings circa $30 million into Formula One each and every single year. Sponsorship dollars in Mexico are a premium. That has to matter, but sometimes you need to go out there and perform as an F1 driver. I say all that to say this. Over the past 5 races, Red Bull have scored 116 points. They are third. McLaren, 132. McLaren, 144. Mercedes, 132. What are we doing? They are third in the constructors' rankings over the last 5 races. And even more damning as far as Checo Perez is concerned. Of those points, guess how many he scored? 15. 15 to Maximilian Verstappen's 101. For every 7 points that Max is scoring, Checo Perez is scoring 1. What are we doing? How is this even possible in the premier sports formula in the world? What are we doing? Want to call yourself a meritocracy? Mohammed Ben Sulayem says that we're investing in grassroots. Are we? Are we really investing in grassroots? Or are we investing in the green chap? How can you make a case for Checo Perez if not to just talk about the bloody finances? One cannot be made on performance grounds. Not at all. Not on your Nelly. And Mark Priestley, the legend, F1 Elvis, has said something that I think is really important to bake in. Carlos Sainz Jr., as at July 2024, is absolutely the bottleneck in this driver silly season equation. But why, I ask you? While F1 insider Mr. Mark Priestley suggests that Carlos Sainz Jr. might be waiting on events to pan out at Red Bull, he cites that Max Verstappen could end up at Mercedes as soon as 2025. I will see you that, Mark Priestley, F1 Elvis, and raise you this. How much more underperformances, material ones, does Checo Perez have in his locker? How many more times can he fail to get out of Q1 before Christian Horner, Helmut Marko et al. Press that exit button? Do what Red Bull have done so famously. How many more times can they afford to stomach these flotsam and jetsam F1 performances courtesy of the man formerly known as the Mexican Minister of Defense? Listen, let me put this forth to you, judge and jury. I say that the sand timer is ticking. It has turned round on Checo Perez. He doesn't have too many more. He needs to sort this out. Of course, Red Bull have Christian Horner to blame. There is too much carrot and not enough stick in this equation. Every single time Checo signs himself an extension, please see Monaco a couple of years back, his performance falls off the cliff. I understand this root cause analysis pie 100%. However, that doesn't distract from the fact that Checo Perez is no longer an F1 driver, hasn't been season to date. Red Bull Christian Horner need to take action imminently unless they harbour aspirations of losing themselves a slam dunk of a Constructors' Championship in 2024. But I digress. Prosecution rests. No further questions, Your Honour.